Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've been showcasing this great plugin here. It's called Divi Image Hover, and it gives you some fantastic image hover effects and image swap effects. I think there's 250 or so of these that you get with this little plugin, and I purchased it. I'm really impressed with it, and it just reduced the price from $49 to $15. I'll put the link below this video if anybody wants to use it. But a lot of these effects, I mean, although fantastic, can be achieved with the Divi builder on its own with a little bit of work. Don't get me wrong, this plugin is absolutely awesome and great value. But if you want to put a little bit of work in, you can do some of these things manually. That's what we're going to do today. So let's go over to our site. And the one we're going to do today is we're going to do a call to action spin in, image to call to action spin in on hover. There it is right there. So when you're off it, you can just see the background image there. Put your mouse over it and you've got a call to action spin in that you can click a button on. Really easy to do, so let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is enable the Visual Builder, and let's go down, and I've got a spare gap just below. I've got a row here with 2 columns in it. Let's put it in this second column here, and I'm simply going to put in a call to action module. Divi as standard comes with all these light grey modules. You also get a dozen more when you've got WooCommerce installed, and it'll help you sell your products. So let's put our call to action in right here. There it is. I'm not going to play with it too much. I'm going to keep it fairly simple today. So I'm going to leave the title as it is. Button click here is fine. And obviously you can put in your own content here. Don't want it to link to anything. If you do want it to link to something, put your link in here, and the whole module, when they click on it, will link to this link. And the button link, obviously at the top, you want to put in here. I'm just going to put in a hashtag because I haven't got anywhere for it to go. And you see, once you put a hashtag or a link in there, the button will actually appear. Now if you're linking to an external site, something that's not on the website that you're building here, you want it open in a new tab so your site stays open. If not, if it's on the same site, keep it in the same window. Okay, so we got pretty much everything I want there. And what I want to do now is get rid of that background. And when I get rid of the background, you're going to lose that text because it'll be white on white. But that's not a problem. So here's our background. Let's get rid of that one. Okay. Now what I want to do is actually make the image now that we want to have it hover. The image that we actually want to show initially before the call to action hovers in. So I'm going to save what we've got here. I'm going to go into my row, the green tab for a row, blue for a section, dark for a module. But I want to go into the row. We're working on our second column. This is the second column, obviously. And let's go down to background, and we'll put a background image in there. Now you can add color, gradient, image or video, and this effect will work just as well for all of these. But we're going to use an image today. I guess I'll grab that same little image. And we can see our writing now because our column has now got this image in the background. But that's not real visible there. So what I'm going to do while we're in our column background here, I'm also going to add a background color. Let's use purple. I'm going to make it fairly dark. Something like that there. Then if we go back to our image, we can roll down just a little bit. Background image blend, and I'm going to blend that color with the background image. I'm just going to use multiply. You experiment with these, you can get some fantastic effects, but today I'm just going to use multiply. As you can see, that's darkened down the image and our text is very clear. Now if you decide that is too dark for you, you can always go back into your color and bring the opacity down until you can see as much or as little as the image as you want to. I'm actually going to leave it fairly dark like that. Great. So we've got our structure going pretty well here. Let's just make that title a little more interesting. So let's save this, save the row, go back into the module. Now when I hover over, you'll notice these little blue circles with white brushes in them. If you click on that, it'll take you to the CSS edit or the style edit for whatever module the brush is attached to. There's the button, there's the content, there's the title. I'm going to go into the title, H2, and I'm simply going to give it a color that's just slightly different from the other one, purely for a bit of interest. And let's brighten that up something like that, and make it bold. Okay, so I'm pretty much going to leave this like this. I do want to make it a little bit bigger, perhaps so it's the same size as the one next door. So to do that, let's go into our spacing, close up the title text, spacing down below, and I'm going to give it a little bit of padding. Let's try 100 and see how we get on. 100, just put in the 100, it'll put in the pics. If you hit the chain, it'll do the opposite end for you. It's a little bit longer than I need, but you can use the little arrows, up and down arrows, to fine tune it to where you want. Well, that looks about right. Yeah, let's take it 94. Great. So now let's make the hover effect happen. Now if we think about what we want to do here, when we initially look at this, we don't want to see this at all. Then when we hover over it, we want it to spin in and appear. So let's go over to our design tab and down to our close up spacing, and we'll go down to filters, and all of these common to all Divi modules. If you hover over the dark legending there, you'll see these little icons appear. If there's an arrow there, it's going to give you the opportunity to set a hover state and a non-hover state. Hover state obviously is when your mouse is on it, non-hover is when it's not. I'm going to use a bit of blur today. We could use opacity or see-throughness, but I'm going to use blur today. So let's hit the little arrow. Now the desktop version is when our mouse is not on it. When our mouse is not on it, I really don't want to see this at all. So I'm going to blur it out completely by bringing this up until I can't see it. That's fine right there. Then when we put our mouse on it, I want to see it clearly. So I'll take that back down to 0. Great. And also, when I am not hovering over it, it wants to be upside down. And when we hover over it, it wants to rotate the right way around. So for that, we're going to actually use transitions. And again, let's just close up our filters here. Go down a bit further, and we've got transform. And to do this, we're going to use transform rotate. And again, I'm going to hit that little arrow. So we've got a desktop and a hover. For the desktop, I'm going to flip it backwards by 180 degrees. And again, you can fine tune here. Not that it's going to make a whole lot of difference to ours because it's blurred out at this state. And then when we put our mouse over it, I want it to be right way around, 0 degrees. And again, fine tune it with your little arrows there. Okay, now the time that it actually takes to complete this, in other words, the time it takes to twist and appear once we put our mouse on it, is the transition time. And if we go over to our advanced tab, down to transitions, duration, I'm going to bring mine up to around a second for drama. Obviously you put yours exactly where you want it. I don't want any delay. I want it to happen immediately my mouse is over the top of it. And the speed curve I like to use for these effects is ease in out. Have a play with these. They're fairly subtly different. but they will work better in different situations. Like I say, the ease in and ease out is one of my favorites for hover effects. Okay, if we've done everything correctly, this should work now. Let's save our changes, save our page changes, and exit the Visual Builder. Go down to where we are, and there's our little fella right there. Put our mouse over. There we go. As you can see, it's sort of easing in and then easing out again. And of course your call to action buttons are going to take them wherever it is your link goes. And that's a nice little effect to have on your site. If people are mousing around, happen to hover over that, it's going to get their attention pretty quickly. So there you have it. That is how to create a spinning call to action on hover. So I hope you've enjoyed that and found it useful. If you have, please ring the bell, give it a thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.